What up, what up, what up? Welcome back to the Two Goat Show. We're your hosts, Miriah and Steph. Steph, happy Two Goat Thursday. How you doing? Good to see you.
Happy Two Go Thursday. It's a good day to be a Niner fan, as it usually is. Except today, the training camp tickets came out, and it was a shit show. Absolute shit show. I didn't get any.
No, none.
Well, I
saw.
had gotten two already from like someone who's a season ticket holder. So theirs came out Monday. So I got 2 days. But like I was hoping I'd get a couple myself, I got none today. It was ridiculous. Part of it was because Ticketmaster sucks, and actually, that's probably most of it. I had to guess.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of people, posting online like their wait queue, and it's like 900 and something, and it's just like there's not even that many training camp tickets. Like, how does this like is it just you think people like rushing to buy them to resell them, or people legit want to go? Like,
probably a mixture of both.
Because like now they're 20. That people try to resell everything.
They're $20, which is a lot. They used to be 10. So
some teams is free still. So the fact that the 49ers doubled in price this season and other teams remain free, and I seen that other teams like have all kinds of like fan activities there, like games, food, drinks,
Minnesota,
and none of that, right?
Minnesota was awesome. Like when they had the joint practices a couple years ago in Minnesota. First of all, their facility is amazing, like huge. And they have a much bigger space to hold that many amount of fans for one. So like their bleacher area is big. Like it's a big bleacher. They have like 4 fields. And yeah, they have like concessions open. They're selling stuff. Like at 49ers camp, they have like nothing. They have water.
Like that makes no sense. Like what the fans are going to want to buy stuff, and if you're somewhere for an extended time that you want to buy food, you want to buy drinks, you're going to want to buy merch. So like
they have like some memorabilia, like some jerseys on sale, but I think it's mostly like the expensive stuff because it's like signed stuff, or it's like I don't know,
right?
But it's or they do sell like mini helmets, so you can like go get it signed from someone after practice. But it's like it's not great.
It seems like like there's like
so much better.
Yeah, like there's a big missed opportunity there, and instead of taking advantage of it, you're just going to double the prices and tickets and.
Invader 49ers says, I'm not going to training camp for anything but to watch, could care less about the other stuff. That's fine, but like we said, a lot of training camps are free to attend. Free, or the 49ers used to be $5. So if I'm paying $20 to go, they better offer more than just the ability to watch the practices. I think that's like, it's the principle of it. It's more than anything else.
And really just a missed opportunity on the 49ers side that they could be making so much more money by selling all this other stuff there, and like at least have some fan experience, like for kids and stuff too, like that's great. Yeah, we're there to watch the practice, but sometimes it's like a family event, like you're taking your whole family with you, like so chat, what's up? Hope everybody's doing great. Don and Throwback, always first in the door. Appreciate you guys. Invader, what's up? Jimmy, appreciate you coming through. Hope everybody is great. Steph, as you see, what color the banner is here?
It's black, and I'm wearing a black shirt. Like, how did you know? And you're wearing a black shirt too, so like you're also
3 weeks in a row. I got it right.
That's kind of creepy. I should have thought about it too this morning. I should have been like thinking, I wonder what banner color Miriah's gonna choose. Let me try to psych her out. I mean, I still couldn't.
Hey, Miss Deb, good to see you. Hope you're doing well. Hope you're staying cool and hydrated. All right, so let's get into some things. Obviously, you and I went back and forth on this a little bit on the timeline. So I haven't even been live since Brandon Aiyuk asked for a trade or anything. So let's start there. Obviously, we know, right? Brandon Aiyuk asked for a trade. Coincidentally, the same day, Ricky Pearsall goes on the NFI list. Strange. I don't know if that was a known thing, but just kind of strange how it all worked out on the same day. So a lot of people have been obviously talking about this the last couple days. Real quick, I'm going to get into Diamador Lenore on the Rich Eisen show, but like I felt so bad for him that he's going to do a broadcast on the Rich Eisen show, and as he's backstage waiting for them to bring him up and get the stuff all set, the news breaks of Aiyuk asking for a trade. So like he kind of had to just like show his raw emotions right there. And you could tell he was upset about it. Like I felt so bad for him to have to be dealing it. And then you're the first one getting asked questions about it and all that.
Right.
We'll talk a little bit about him in a little bit. But after the news comes out that Aiyuk asked for a trade, obviously all these different rumors and scenarios and trade packages and all this comes up. So one of the rumors obviously going around is Brandon Aiyuk to Las Vegas in exchange for wide receiver Davante Adams. Now, you and some other faithful are all on board with trading Brandon Aiyuk for Davante Adams. Give me your thoughts on this. Is this just like you're thinking, okay, this will help us? Because if we're going to trade Brandon Aiyuk, it needs to be something that's going to make this team better, right? So are you thinking that this is going to make this team better this season and that's it? This is going to make the 49ers better this season and into the future? Like, where is your thinking when it comes on taking on an older wide receiver who is more expensive? Like the final year of his contract's like making $44 million or something ridiculous. So just kind of give me where your head at and, your thoughts on the Davante Adams situation.
Yeah, I think to this point, I've turned down the thought of the 49ers trading Brandon Aiyuk, after the draft happened, just because for that reason that there's virtually nothing that the 49ers could get in return for Brandon Aiyuk at this point that would make them better in 2024. But now when I saw, Pretty Ricky post about this rumor, and he made it clear it was a rumor. It's not like anything he's reporting. This one did pique my interest. It did wake me up because I do think Davante Adams is better than Brandon Aiyuk at this point, and I do think Davante Adams makes the 49ers a better team in 2024. Now, Davante Adams has a few years left on his deal. You do point out, after 2024. So in 2024, his base salary is 16.8, almost 16.9 million. So that's not too bad. But the whole base salary this year is guaranteed. But after 2024, no guarantees are left on his contract. So after that, it does jump up to 35.6 million in 2025. In 2026, 36.6 million. So yeah, that's in addition to the the bonuses. So yeah, it would actually be 44.1 in the final 2 years of his deal. The way that I look at it though is this should be an all-in season for the 49ers. I care less about the 49ers sustaining a level of success that keeps them in the playoffs for however long. Like they could go to the playoffs for the next 5 years, and a lot of people would probably be like, sure, yeah, like that's great. I want a Super Bowl. I could give a fuck if they're good in the next 5 years if they win a Super Bowl in 2024. So that's what I care about. All right. So if they go all in 2024, and I think if you go all in, Davante Adams, if he's available or if the Raiders are willing to trade him and swap for Brandon Aiyuk, if I'm the Niners, I'm like, yeah. Yeah, we'll figure out the rest after this season, but hopefully after having won a Super Bowl, because I do think, Adams is hungry for a Super Bowl too. Not to say that Brandon Aiyuk is not, but I just think there's a different sense of urgency that can, and in addition to him being a better wide receiver right now, that can help the 49ers get to that ultimate goal. So that's the way I see it. I understand some people's concerns. And, it's not like I'm against it, but I'm just like, for people who scoff at the idea of Davante Adams, it's crazy to me because he's better than Brandon Aiyuk is.
He can be better than Brandon Aiyuk, but
what do you mean he can't? What do you mean he can?
I'm saying, I'll agree with you there. But is the difference between the production that we got from Brandon Aiyuk this past season to who knows what production we'd get from Davante Adams? Is that going to be a big enough difference between the two to get us over the hump and be able to beat the Chiefs? Because that wasn't the problem in the Super Bowl, I don't think. So, like, we're not fixing the most needed areas of concern to get us a Super Bowl win. And we're going out and getting a more expensive wide receiver when that wasn't the issue. Well, like, that doesn't help the O-line. Aiyuk's the best blocker on the team.
What is going to help the O-line, though,
when it comes to wide receivers? So does Davante Adams block like Brandon Aiyuk does?
I mean, that I don't really know, but that's something that can be taught. Like, blocking can be taught.
Steph,
any wide receiver,
30-something years old. If he hasn't blocked this far up in his career, he's not going to all of a sudden start blocking when he's 30-something years old, about to retire. Like, come on.
He's like a bad blocker. Do you guys know that he's a bad blocker? Like, is that the case?
I didn't say he was. I'm just asking. I asked you, is he the blocker like Brandon Aiyuk?
I know he's not a bad blocker. I don't know if he's like on the tier of 49er wide receiver blockers, but I just think like when you join the 49ers, like, you become a better blocker. Like, that's just inherently something that happens. So I think Adams would be a good enough blocker if that's like people's worry.
And what do you think would be on the Raiders? Because Davante Adams was very vocal when it came to the Raiders hiring this head coach and told them either you hire him or I'm gone. The Raiders hire him, and now all of a sudden they're going to say, okay, we're going to trade you away for Brandon Aiyuk. Like, what's in it for the Raiders to even want? Like, if you're trying to sell that Davante Adams is so much better than Brandon Aiyuk and this is such a great thing, like, why would the Raiders want to do that then?
I don't know. That's one thing I couldn't tell you, because I was actually surprised a little by this rumor to begin with. But the rumor, like, doesn't necessarily, like, it's probably not coming from the Raiders if it's a rumor, right? Like, because if it were coming from the Raiders, it'd be a report, So, yeah, I think it's just people kind of putting two and two together, possibly that Davante Adams clearly wasn't happy, in Las Vegas. And so seeing that him and Brandon Aiyuk are, similar enough in value that, maybe they could do a swap of some kind. Like, I just think it's people putting two and two together. But yeah, I mean, I don't think the Raiders would actually do it,
Let's look at, what do you think? Because another, rumor or whatever thing that's going around is trading Aiyuk to the Commanders, which obviously we know the Commanders connection, GM, quarterback, yada, yada, right? So trading Aiyuk to the Commanders for Scary Terry plus whatever, whether that's a pick, whether that's a Joe Schmo that they throw in. How would you feel about that?
See, that one doesn't really do anything for me. Those are like the conversations that I was seeing 49er fans having that I was like, man, you guys are so into like fan fiction and I'm not entertaining any fake trade scenarios. The only one that I did that for was the Davante Adams one, but the Commanders one I don't think would happen. Because I don't know. I think Terry could be just along the same lines as Brandon Aiyuk, but I don't think he is right now. So, but he's also been in a bad situation.
Yeah.
So I think it would have to be McLaurin and some kind of conditional pick, maybe. I don't know. I haven't seen what people are saying, but
because I know for a while, obviously, like you said, the situation he's in has kind of been shitty over there. But I mean, for a while, people thought, of him as one of the top wide receivers in this league. And
right.
I don't know. We'll get into it in a second, but
ultimately, I don't think anything is going to happen.
That's what I was going to say. But
yeah.
Let's get it to Gammon's super chat real quick. Appreciate you. He says, who is Sabrina Carpenter? And does your wife know, Steph?
Fiance. She's not my wife yet, but he's referring to a tweet that I put out. I could share it really quick, but basically it was a tweet from one of the content aggregators, and I'm all football. I've talked to him. He's a cool dude. But anyway, he does what he does, and so he posted this. Brandon Aiyuk has been liking a lot of Steelers related content on IG, and then he shows like literally him liking a Steelers photo on Instagram. And I was just like, okay, well, I've been liking a lot of Sabrina Carpenter pictures, but doesn't mean anything. Like, not like I could do anything about it. So that was kind of my response to that. Sabrina Carpenter is a singer. You guys have heard that Espresso song. Come on. It is so catchy. I'm not going to sing it right here because I don't have the chops for it.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Really? You don't know the Espresso song?
That's what it's called?
It's called Espresso.
Maybe if I heard it, but I don't. Like, I can't think of any song that I can remember that. Is it like pop or is it what?
Yeah, it's pop. It's pop. It's like a top 40 song. I could play just like. He's like, you will sing it. I mean, you did pay $2, Camden, for that. That probably earns singing. I'm like, for some reason, I'm like, that's that me espresso.
She gives us 3 words, and one of them's espresso. Like, that did a lot for us.
Me, happy night, and that's it, I guess so. So you can't sleep, baby, I know. That's that me espresso.
No.
I can keep going, but I'm going to just end it right there. Because
that does sound familiar. I'm going to have to listen to it after this. And that name, Sabrina Carpenter, doesn't even sound familiar, so.
Yeah. She's kind of new, but, well.
It could have been... Speaking of unknown singers to me, and this is off football and real quick onto baseball, but did you hear that clip going around of the girl singing the national anthem or whatever at baseball?
Yes, I did.
That's bringing up Sabrina Carpenter, because when I first heard her name, I went to Google. I'm like, who is this girl? I'm like looking her up. So that's going to be me and Sabrina Carpenter after this. And she better sound better than that. Okay.
Oh, I think I would have sounded better than that. I did right now on the spot.
Remember the one with Fergie? It was like
yes, and I think this was worse. Honestly.
The Warriors. That was like the worst one at the time. Like, everybody compared every single one to that one because it was so bad. And now this one takes. Yeah, I think this cake.
It did take the cake, I think.
Yeah, and then bad. I hate to be making fun of it, because then she comes out the next day and says that she was all drunk and she's checking herself into rehab.
That, though?
I don't know. Like, why would you? like I was talking to Dawn, and I'm like, she had to have been high and drunk, or her vocal cord just fell out, because I've never heard, like, I've listened to many drunk people do karaoke that can't even sing to begin with, and they don't sound that bad. Like, you're already a professional singer, and all of a sudden it turns to that because you drink, like.
Yeah. Oh, wait, Corey, to clarify, the national anthem girl is not Sabrina Carpenter. Just so you know, two different people, okay? Two different people, but that we were talking about the national anthem girl right now.
Oh man, yeah, that was crazy. And now, like, it said like a lot of people kept saying, like, who is she, you know, and it said like she was like up for award, like Grammy, not whatever their awards are, nominated, whatever. But I'm like, shit, everybody knows you now, and for the wrong reason. So I don't know. Pretty crazy.
That's unfortunate. That is unfortunate.
All right. Let me talk to you about some little cryptic messages that got put out. Our guy, Juwan Jennings, I think it was like the day of or the day after, right, that Brandon asked for the trade. Juwan Jennings puts out, what social media is this?
I think it was on Instagram. It was like his Instagram story.
Yeah, so he puts out an Instagram story, and it says, you got to be a different type of person to act like you're doing everything by yourself, knowing dang well you're not. So, of course, Brandon just asked for a trade. Then that goes up. Okay, everybody runs with it, like, JJ's talking about Brandon and yada, 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 all this going on. So then, like a day later, maybe, he puts out another story that says, never would I diss my brother, Brandon Aiyuk, broski a made man. Do you think Juwan Jennings was talking about Brandon Aiyuk?
No, and I hate that people always like assume stuff like that. Like, I feel bad for them, because like this happens to Debo too all the time.
Yep.
Like, where he can't say anything without people thinking it's about the 49ers.
Everything's football related.
Always. I don't understand. Like, you can't say anything. And so, you know, JJ is kind of seeing how that goes, and I feel bad. Like, you literally can't say a thing.
And it was like, I didn't even see like his original story, because like I'm only on there, like I'm barely trying to figure out how to use that Instagram. So I didn't even see that. Like, I just see everybody posting it on Twitter and going crazy about it. And it's just like, I'm sitting there thinking, like, they're close, you know, like I couldn't imagine.
Right.
Like, we always hear about guys talking about like, oh, well, when they're working on their contract, like, we stay out of it, you know, like,
right,
we'll see you when you get back on the field, or we'll say peace out as we see you get traded out the locker room, right? Like, what? That's nothing to talk on. Like, they talk about that so much. Like, you're not going to count another man's pockets, right? And yet, as soon as he puts out something, and I understand like the timing and the way it sounded, and but it's like these guys do more than just play for the 49ers, right? Like, they have a whole life. He could have been playing video games like Call of Duty, and his, you know, teammate acting like he got all the kills, you know, like, yeah, like, who knows, right? But, you know, I see this with even, you know, the Aces players, like any sports person, I swear, like anytime they post anything, it's like the fans run crazy with it. So I thought it was funny that he comes out and, you know, even clears it up. That just shows you the type of guy that, you know, Juwan Jennings is. Like, he could have easily just left that going out, you know. Many people do, right? Like, how many times does somebody put out a story and it gets twisted 6,000 different ways, and they just let it go, you know, like, okay, whatever, let them say what they're going to say. But, you know, the fact that he comes out and clears the air, like, I'm not talking about my brother like that. Like, the hell? Like, this kind of shows you what a stand-up guy he is.
Oh yeah, for sure. which is why I wouldn't have never even thought he would say anything about this, because he's like the last person I would think would say anything about it. But like, people need to understand that these players don't get mad because their teammate is trying to get their bag. The only people who get mad are the fans.
Yeah.
That's it. And then fans project that onto the players and are like, well, he must be saying this about Brandon Aiyuk. Like, no, come on. So, yeah, I don't think any teammate of Aiyuk's is upset that he's trying to get paid, because at some point they're all going to be in that situation.
Right.
Well, not all of them, but a lot of them are going to be in that situation, and so they get it.
And Jennings is one that knows. Like, he was just put on the freaking whatever that damn
he held out of
thing, whatever it was, and then like finally trying to get some kind of contract and held out and got it, So like, why would he be talking about BA when he just went through his own shit? Like, I don't know. And that's what I was thinking about Lenore when he was, on Rich Eisen, and they're questioning him about it. And it's like, he's coming up for his own payday, right? Like, he's going to be sitting in the same seat next off season. Hopefully they get it done prior to that. But yeah. So one of the people in media, sports media, I guess, I don't know what exactly you call it, but that I can't stand the most, but I'm going to talk about what he had to say right now, is Emmanuel Acho. And just because he's always such a big mouth and 75% of the time wrong, but he claims that he talked to Brandon Aiyuk's agent. Maybe they're homies, who knows? But this is what he had to say about it. So he talked to the agent and is feeling like, so he says, so the kicker, what you have to realize, when somebody tells you they ain't got money, that's not what they mean. What they mean is they don't have money for you, Aiyuk. They don't have money for you. The Niners got the money. The question is, do they got the money for Aiyuk? So to me, I would be upset if I'm Aiyuk, not because they ain't got the money. They got the money. It's just, do they got the money for you? So where I'm at with it, if I'm Aiyuk, I would want out. The reason I would want out is because in the last 3 years, I've done everything right. He says good runs turn into great runs when wide receivers block downfield. The reason the Niners have the best running back in football is because of McCaffrey, but not just because of McCaffrey. It's because you have dedicated wide receivers like Brandon Aiyuk, first-round picks who block downfield. If you're Brandon Aiyuk, you have done everything right, and now it's time for the Niners to do right by you. He also had said during that whole, the Niners have money, but do they have money for you? Had said that, as they're telling you they don't have money for you, they went on to give the highest paid running back in the league another raise, and then also paid Juwan Jennings. So those are the two that he used to solidify his reasoning for thinking that Brandon Aiyuk is right for wanting a trade. What do you think about that?
I mean, I think Brandon Aiyuk is right to, want what he's asking for, just because of what the market has told us. And because, based on the market, I could see him getting, I don't know, 28 million. That's probably where I'd put Brandon Aiyuk. And so if the 49ers are offering less, I think he's right to ask for a trade if he's not seeing any movement, right? Like he's good there. I at the same time, like, I think the 49ers are right in, doing having it wait this long. For one, let me take that back. I actually think they should have gotten it done earlier in the offseason, but after all of the extensions happened this offseason and the market, like there was a market, now it's fine for the 49ers to wait, to just kind of see if they can have Brandon Aiyuk take less. Although it seemed early in the offseason he would have been fine with taking less. So that was their bad. But yeah, I mean, the thing is, he's right that the 49ers have to make tough decisions about who they keep at this point because they can't keep everyone. Keeping CMC and keeping CMC happy with his raise is a no-brainer. In my opinion, he's the best running back in the entire league. Juwan Jennings, that one I like, that could have gone either way. But Juwan Jennings is kind of a bargain, if you look at it that way, based on what he does for the team, what the team feels he does for them. And obviously, like, he's a wide receiver three. His market's not crazy.
Yeah.
His market's not crazy. So it's a pretty affordable deal. So I understand Brandon looking at all that and being like, well, they got paid. Why can't I? I see it from that standpoint. But I also see it from the Niners standpoint where it's like, yes, but we don't see that same value in you at this price that you value yourself at. And so that's it. Like, and now it's just a matter of who's gonna blink first. And hey, if I had a bet, I'd say Brandon Aiyuk blinks first because there's a lot more going up against him in this case than the 49ers. So we'll continue to wait and see. But like, yeah, I don't think either side is like wrong for wanting to get what they want out of this.
So do you think that, because we obviously know that we went through this with Debo, and this is one of the steps in negotiations that Debo took too, was asking for a trade, right? Do you, from everything that you've heard, now forget the rumors and what this person's saying, this person's saying, what you've heard from Brandon Aiyuk himself, do you think that he really wants to be traded, or do you think that this was a step in the negotiation process to say, okay, we're here, training camp's here, hurry the fuck up?
I think this was a step in the negotiation process, and I'm actually surprised it took this long. I think the fact that he waited this long tells you he does want to be with the 49ers, and this is kind of like a last-ditch effort to, one, spur some action from the 49ers, or, okay, if you're not going to pay me what I want, then, like, move me, like, right. I need something to happen from his standpoint. So, yeah, I think he wants to be with the 49ers, but I think he also wants to be appreciated. And in his mind right now, what appreciated means is getting paid what he feels he deserves.
And the thing like that still like makes me keep going back to and like getting so pissed off about the situation is because, and like I listened to so many clips before this show, and a couple from Schefter and from, people like that, and all of them are saying, well, the market changed, so Brandon Aiyuk is expecting to be changed where the market changed. It's like you could have had him for the number that you're wanting to have him for if you would have signed him back then. Like, instead of waiting like you always freaking do, and the market goes up, the market goes up, the market goes up. That's what, like, I swear, it was last week, right, that I asked you, like, what is the benefit of the 49ers waiting? Like, another week goes by and I still do not see, like, why do they wait? What possibly could be the benefit of them waiting so long to pay their people? Because year after year after year after year, it seems like this is the situation they're constantly in. Like, why do you want your players pissed off?
It's literally the question like we've asked so many times. And I mean, I think there's enough evidence to suggest that the 49ers like to do it this way. They like to wait till the very end. I don't know what that reason is, but yeah, it has to be a choice at this point on their part.
Oh, that's so frustrating. Okay, let's talk a little bit about some other players on the 49ers. 4 of the 49ers undrafted rookies got selected in the UFL draft, which is pretty cool because like I didn't know like what that meant when I first saw that, right? So like I went and I'm looking, and so basically, you know, if these players don't make it onto the 49ers 53 or even, you know, the practice squad, whatever, if they choose to want to take that route, whatever, or somebody else's, you know, 53, then since they already got drafted in the UFL draft, they have that then to fall back on. If they do, you know, make the 49ers 53, well, then obviously they'd rather play in the NFL, right? But I thought that was pretty cool because, you know, at least they have like a fall, like so many times, like we see guys, when they don't make a team, what do they have? Like, what do you have after that? Right. Like, and so like these guys already have like already a backup plan set up. And if they don't make the team, they can go into this other league and get better, get playing time, get reps, and maybe eventually make it back to the NFL, right? So 49ers, so these are the players. Running back Cody Schrader was actually drafted in the 2nd round. And I've heard already good things about this running back. So very interested to see how highly he was drafted. Then we got center Brayson Mays was drafted in the 9th round. How many rounds do they even have? A lot, I guess. 9, maybe.
I didn't like, know.
That's crazy. Quarterback Tanner Mordecai was drafted in the 9th round. I thought there was 4. This only has 3, so maybe. I thought there was 4 though. Maybe I just made that up. But yeah, that's like that Cody Schrader, definitely. I was already wanting to keep an eye on him, but the fact that he was drafted in the 2nd round over there out of freaking all these rounds, like all these guys, that says something to me. What do you think about the way the UFL is doing this draft? Because I've seen other teams as well have undrafted players that were drafted to the UFL as well. So how do you feel about this UFL thing, and what do you think about these guys getting drafted over there?
Yeah, I think this was a thing last year too, but maybe none of the 49ers guys ended up getting drafted. I don't know, but yeah, it is something they've done, and it's nice for the players, like you said, because, you know, they do have that fallback option should anything happen, should they not make the 53 or the practice squad or anything like that. I think like if you make the practice squad, obviously you want to stick with that. And also I want to say that UFL, they play in the spring, so I don't know when the commitments start for the UFL, but I would assume that you would defer those commitments until the NFL season is over.
Yeah.
Which, you know, it that could happen, right? Like, because the NFL season ends in like January, February. So yeah, I think it's a good opportunity for those players, and it not necessarily impact, you know, their current NFL opportunities either. So yeah, it's cool. And I've seen some players, you know, go to the UFL and then they get drafted by the NFL. Like, who was it? Was it like Quantra Stiggers, I think, from this last NFL draft? He got drafted because he was like a standout in the UFL. So yeah, you just you never know what could happen, and it's cool that these guys get that opportunity. That's the cool thing about the UFL, is that it's kind of like this spring league, like literally like spring league for these guys who don't get a lot of opportunities, but they can kind of build their chops up a little bit and make that transition a little bit easier, and, you know, become bubble roster guys, depth guys. So it's nice.
I agree. What's up, Jess? Hope you're doing well. That's all I really have. I mean, the only other thing was just wishing Mitch and his wife congratulations because they did have their baby. It looks like in the pictures, mom looks to be doing well. Mitch is there with his shirt off, you know, looking all studly, holding the baby. The next 49er, I think it's a boy. I didn't see no name or anything, but it looked like a boy.
His name's
so I would assume
with 2 N's.
Oh,
Win
okay.
Wishnowski. How about Win Rightnowski?
So when he's a 49er,
easy nicknames there.
He'll have quite the football name. So yeah, congrats to them. I'm glad to see that, mom and baby are doing well. Anything? Oh, the only other thing, and I mentioned this a little bit, was the Ricky Pearsall injury, and it's been very hush hush so far. But do you think that this is related back to? Remember Ricky Pearsall, the last time we seen him, with doing football activities, he was in a no contact jersey, like already dealing with something. Now, do you think he left, from there and went and got something else, or this is all tied in together? If you had to guess, what would you think?
I
at least
we'll
get to find out soon, because on the first practice, the 49ers have to release the practice report, so injury report. So they have to put something.
Do they have to put out a practice report or injury report for someone who's on NFI?
I don't know.
I don't think so. But yeah, we don't know what the specific injury is. Yeah, Matt Barrows did, say that it's considered minor, or isn't considered serious. So that's good. But I don't know, if it did have anything to do with whatever he was dealing with in, OTAs and whatnot, because, we didn't get a lot of information then either. And I just know that when Kyle Shanahan gets asked about it in a presser, he's not going to tell us shit either.
Right.
You already know. So that's fine. I don't think I need to know the specifics of it right now. As long as I know it's not serious, as long as I know he could be ready at some point in camp, right? Hopefully, I'll feel good about that.
Yeah, hopefully he gets out there soon. The last thing we need is another, wide receiver not on the field. What's up, Pac-Man? I see you. Appreciate you coming through.
That's a good point from Leon Sandcastle that says he's pretty sure the non-contact jersey was because he wasn't officially signed till after minicamp. Could be a reason. I don't know.
I've seen other teams have a bunch of players not signed and they weren't in contact jerseys. I don't know if that would just be a strictly 49ers thing.
What if he specifically requested it? I don't know. Could. You never
Hopefully we get to know soon what's going on. Either he'll be on the field or he won't.
Exactly.
Anything else you got going on that you want to let the good people know about, Steph?
No more shows for me today. Tomorrow I'm going to be putting out another fan cave tour. So if you guys have been enjoying those, make sure you guys check those out. I have a total of 4 that have been released. So if you guys haven't seen those, they're on my channel, 49ers or 49K 49ers Fan Cave Tour. And my channel is Steph 49K. So make sure you guys check that out if you haven't yet.
So real quick before we get out of here, Pac-Man is a Bengals fan, and he says, "I'll give you all T. Higgins and a third for Aiyuk and Bosa."
What the heck?
Maybe T. Higgins and a third for just Aiyuk, but
crazy troll.
If you cut it off right there, you better add in 5 more first, and then we'll start talking about it, right?
That's crazy.
And yeah, I'm done for the week as well. I'll be back Monday with Ty for our WNBA show. So make sure if you're watching the WNBA or want to get into the WNBA that you guys come through on Faithfully in Vegas. Usually we're live Mondays at 6 Pacific time. So yeah, come through. And me and Steph will be back next Thursday, same time, same place for the Two Goat Show.
We're talking about camp.
Oh yeah, we will. We'll have something real to talk about, not just Brandon Aiyuk. But yeah, appreciate you all coming through. Much love. Please hit that like, subscribe on both channels. We appreciate you all. Until next time, everybody stay safe and have a wonderful weekend. We're out of here.
Peace.
Peace.